Dean,
Here.
Bernie,
Here.
Neil,
Here.
Courtney's here, Jason, not here, Corey.
Here.
Also present are Amanda Engelstead and Lisa Heiser. Everybody have a chance to review the agenda in front of them. If there are any changes or additions, shout those out now. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Bernie made the motion and Neil seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. Meeting minutes of the June 3rd, 2025 meeting. I'll note that we did not have a meeting in July. Anybody have any changes or corrections to those meeting minutes? And if not, is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve the June 3rd meeting minutes.
Okay. There's a motion made by Corey. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dean seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Pose same sign. Okay, that passes. Bills for approval. Lisa?
Okay, in front of you, you have $60,820.52. What that does include is right in front of you there, the Rough Rider Commission repairs on a barbecue grill. They had to replace basically the guts of it. They were all rusted out, so they did that, and we reimbursed them. Jam Pest Control for the Fairgrounds Pest Control around the facility. Electric sales, we did some replacement of lights at the Motorsports Park. Rough Rider Commission for the Rough Rider Days Fair Committee community funds stuff that we did. That was $55,828.55 of their $65,000 that they are approved to receive. Outback Lumber, we bought some posts to split the stock pens at the fairgrounds and got that completed. Stark County Fair Association, we reimbursed them for replacing water troughs at the fairgrounds in the stock pens. And Bronco Environmental, the testing of the well pipe for $842. That one is what we did before. It's not a retest. We just hadn't got that bill paid. We didn't have the W-9, I believe it was, in order to pay them. So we've now added that one. The only thing that I would say would be different on your sheet that you would have received from the auditor on the bills, and that's the highlighted one that I gave you a list of, and that was to Rough Rider Commission for the $5,085. We actually pulled that bill off of there because it jumped them over the $65,000 because we had made a previous payment to them. So they still would get a portion of that, but we withheld it based on one of the below items that they're coming forward to ask for some additional funding. So we did pull that off, and then you'll see the reimbursement later on for the additional amounts. So that's the only one that's different in your bill that we did not pay for that.
And we're capping the Rough Rider Commission reimbursement at what?
You guys had approved $65,000, and then
potentially-
they're coming back potentially for the $20,000 they were able to come back and request.
So the 65,000 then to the Rough Rider Commission primarily is all the reference to the rodeo? Or is there other events that were done?
Their insurance for all the events was part of this one, the Jumbotron, and that was for all their events too. They set up for Rough Rider Days, and then the Corco would be the rough stock, and then obviously the vet for the rodeo too. And then the previous one, I can look at that one. We reimbursed. It would have been $6,250 that we reimbursed originally the first time around. And we did
But for example, the barbecue, that's out at their barbecue, which was primarily out at the.
It's our grill,
fairgrounds.
yes.
It's your grill.
Yes, he just did the work and didn't
Okay.
charge, we just paid the parts, yes.
And then the rodeo cattle, that's.
And that's
just
not
the stock
included in
fee.
the 65,000, the
Right.
grill. Yep.
Got it, okay.
Yep.
So are you wanting us to approve the 65,905.52 or the 60,000?
60,820.52, because I took that 5,085
Okay.
out of that number. Mhm. Until we decide whatever happens later, so.
I guess the point I was trying to get to is, of the, whether it's 65 or 85, whatever we get to, how much is rodeo related and what is other event related, just for our own?
So, the ones that were chosen on here, there's ones, obviously for the, rodeo that you see there. Some of the stuff we didn't reimburse, I have canceled checks for, and that would be, for some of their derby. So we do the rodeo, the derby. There's a small one here for the band that they did, insurance, and then the vets and things that you have in front of you here. So predominantly, it is the rodeo that you see on your bills here that we've reimbursed to date.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for Lisa from the general fund bills? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the bills for the general fund in the total of $60,820.52.
Make that motion.
Okay, the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call vote. Paul?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Bernie?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And Corey?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Moving on to the special project fund bills for $50,693.80.
Yes, and so that is the bill for the playground equipment at Lakeview Park. We have to pay that bill, and the equipment is all ready to ship now, but we have to pay it prior to shipping. And so we've got about a $5,000 and some discount paying by check, so we have to get that check to them by the 15th of the month. So that $50,693.80 is specific to those items on the, and I can show you what those look like
And that
here.
covers shipping?
Yes, that's with shipping, yep. So these are the playground items that you'll see on there.
Who installs that once it's delivered?
So we actually have the Dickinson Parks and Rec helping to do that, and then obviously we'll help do whatever we
Can
can.
you roll forward
Oh.
to, because I think it asks, oops.
This one?
I don't, no, not the views, the numbers, go back, there we go, perfect. So the 93,000 spent to date, does that include this 50,693?
That includes that, correct.
Okay, and then, and this is 50% of the overall bill, or how much of is gonna be left, or is this all the equipment?
That's the playground equipment,
Got
yes.
it. So we'll have no
Yep.
additional expense for equipment other than on-site for installation miscellaneous charges.
Right, and then we will have some charge for whatever we put down, whether it's rubber,
It
mulch,
sounds like-
whatever.
well, and so Dickinson Parks and Rec was gonna install this fall, so we shouldn't have an
Yes.
installation fee either.
Yep, unless there's some
Materials or
bolts
something.
or, yeah,
I'm
something
sure
where
it's
they
gonna have to
need,
be
but-
anchored to the ground.
Yeah.
Yes,
with
it is.
concrete
It comes
and-
with the anchors. Yep,
Okay.
Yep. And this is the breakdown if you wanted to see what the breakdown actually looked like on that.
I would move approval of the paycheck to Willie Goat for the 50,693.80.
I'd second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, put it to a vote. Paul?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Bernie?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and Corey.
Aye.
Passes for 50,693.80. Moving on to old business. The first thing I have is the Lakeview Park budget, which we
just
Talking
kind of
about now.
saw on that. So we were approved, the motion was made to approve up to $125,000. But I understand when I turn in that bill to get it paid, they don't have a specific item to pay, so that we ran into a little bit of a problem and a delay on actually getting this stuff paid by a couple weeks because we had to wait for a meeting. So I don't know if we need to specifically begin approving instead of blanket approving like a budget, because the auditors would not write a check without it being specific to this bill. So I don't know if that's something in the future that we need to deal with on the commission side or what we need to do. I believe she said that maybe they didn't make the motion specific in the commission meeting. And so we've started a little checklist here today. Bernie's got it. And so when there's items to be brought from this meeting to the commission, that's one of the things we're going to try to do to make sure that they happen in both meetings, just so we don't have that lag anymore. And I did visit with Paul about that earlier to make sure that if we needed to deal with it earlier, we could. But since they weren't installing until the later this fall anyway, we just thought it would be okay to bring it to this meeting. So that is a newer process that we're putting in place for that.
So
But
is this being shipped to the county shop
Yes,
and then
right across the street.
it will be fully installed by the end of fall?
Yeah, that's what we anticipate doing.
So no storage over the winter?
Shouldn't have any, unless weather, yeah, Neil's laughing, but yeah, we all know it's been a challenge, but there isn't anything anticipated to cause us not to.
If we have to, do we have a place to store it?
We could, yes.
Okay.
I guess your question, Lisa, is whether or not something that is budgeted is automatically approved without an additional layer of approval from either the park board or the county commission, right? Is that?
The park board had approved it for that, the verbiage was up to $125,000 in our minutes. They didn't think that was specific enough, plus then they didn't believe that it carried into the commission meeting to do that approval.
Okay. Well, I think overall, I want the concept of the boards taking the authority, because if there was a budget of $125,000 and all of a sudden it was spent on something other than what was perceived intent, right? Then all of a sudden you have these layers of authority, approval, and responsibility. So I'm okay with having a little delay and approving these. I think what we should do is maybe bring it down to a dollar amount. So if it's X amount of dollars, 2,500 or 5,000, that, hey, that was in the budget. We need to go buy some anchor bolts, like you said, or buy a yard of concrete to anchor the playground. I don't have a problem with that. But this is one person's opinion, that I think we should have a floor or a ceiling of what is approved outside of the two boards. So just my thoughts.
And I believe that the approval saying up to 125,000 didn't detail what you were actually approving, other than park stuff, which we had talked about many times before that. So that was part of the, I guess, concern.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, because if that little committee out at Lakeville would have come to you and said, hey, we want to put in a basketball court, or, you know, something different than what was design concept that you presented to us, I think that's where you would get some vagueness, I guess.
so that's really all I had for you guys on there, is just that, you know, we have some funds that are still there, but it will come close to that, using up that 31,000 just to finish things with the landscaping and that. So, and you guys saw those, and each of these playground equipment pieces. So the playground on the, I guess it would be your left, is the main structure of it, and it will go for the 5 to 12-year-olds. And then the one on the right is also 5 to 12-year-olds. And then this one is 2 to 12-year-olds. And then we'll have some different climbing pieces that are natural items, but that's what we have in store for Lakeview. So should be a pretty fun park compared to what they have, for sure. So any questions for me on that, or anything that?
So do we have to take any action on this as far as what Neil's suggestion was?
What are your thoughts? I mean, yeah, we probably should have a policy if,
That's what I'm
if a
saying.
policy is necessary.
Is there a similar policy for expenses for like fairgrounds maintenance? Is there a threshold that you're allowed to go spend without coming to approval from the board? And what's that dollar amount, if so?
Can I interrupt for a minute? Like, so if you were gonna go get leg bolts or get cement or get things like that locally in town, most, if not all places, we have charge accounts and they just invoice us, so there's really not this issue. If Lisa needed to go spend $10,000 to get cement out there, like, they will just charge that, right? And invoice us, and then you guys approve it then. So, like, it only becomes an issue when it's like, this is out of state or out, I don't know where they're from, right? And we have to send $50,000. If we were buying that $50,000 locally, right? She probably could have placed that order and then they'd invoice it and it wouldn't be like this. So it's just for you to consider here, like, as far as giving a pre-approval of $2,000 or something, like, I think you have to be careful with that also, because statutorily it says the commission has to approve all drafts. I guess if you're going to write something up that says she has approval, I mean, we'd have to ask Amanda if that covers it statutorily, that's a standing approval, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess I relate it to ones that are just going through my mind. IT has come in front of us, building and grounds have come in front of us, the sheriff comes in front of us, and we approve bills, right? And the first question typically out of one of our mouths is this in your budget? Yes. Okay, and then that we go through a discussion and we, most of the time, approve it. Well, it's already in the budget, been approved by the full budget, but yet we have another layer of oversight when these bills come in. That's all I'm throwing out there on how we do this. So whatever that looks like, I'm fine with.
So,
Right? Like the sheriff, if he buys a vehicle,
Yep.
we'll use that. He comes before you, he says, I'm gonna purchase a vehicle, $50,000, you give him approval. We still typically don't issue that check until it also comes before the commission again to write that check. That's just how we've been doing it, right?
so with this vendor, Willie Goat, right? With the playground stuff? Did we didn't have to set him up as a vendor or anything like that?
Yes, we
did.
have, we will. I did set him up as a vendor, correct. Not a charge vendor, though. They're like a cash vendor, right?
Okay.
So once you approve them today, then I'll send the check.
Okay.
On the commission side,
Right.
Yes.
yes.
I wasn't real concerned about this particular deal, just because, through the planning phase, we kind of knew this was the number for this playground equipment, right? Our budget, so.
And I stay well within my budget always.
But
And if
this-
I'm outside of it, I come to you and say, and I rarely am outside of my budget.
And at the same time, I mean, a little extra oversight never hurts either. You know,
No, it
it's
does not.
It's not delaying anything either, so.
So I guess to answer your question, I think we're fine with the way we're doing it now. Like you said, maybe like Lana says, we typically through the charge account process do it this way. But when it's to a vendor that is out of state, and it's got to be a cash deal. So I'm fine with the way we're currently operating unless someone else wants to change it.
I'm good with it. I just wanted to clarify it a little bit.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to the livestock building bid. Sounds like we have a scheduled special meeting August 14th at 8:30 a.m.
Yes, to open the bids. Yep. So the first advertisement was last week on Wednesday, the July 30th, and then it'll advertise for the next 2 weeks. And then the next day, we'll have the bid opening for the livestock building. We will be issuing an addendum today just because there was some issues with an email and some of the electrical specifications did not get sent to me. So I'll issue that today and be able to get that out to everybody and have that, that packet. And there are packets available in the auditor's office for anybody who wants them. And then they also can request them electronically as well.
Did you get that onto the Builders Exchange as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is that a Thursday? Yeah, okay. Sorry. Just making sure I'm here. Any other discussion with that one? Okay. Moving on to new business, community events funding allocation supplemental request by the Rough Rider Commission. We've talked about that a little bit, but
And so you actually have your fair and community events, the committed funding for 2025 in front of you. And that one just shows the approvals that you did in May, the one you did in June, and then what we've paid so far and what we've committed to is that 97,000. Our budgeted amount was 170,000. We have 22,000 in potential increases, which will leave us remaining with 51,000 in our budget. So that's just for you guys to take a look at. And then we do have a member from the Rough Rider Commission, their president actually, Nicole Kielwein, here to talk to you a little bit about some of the funding aspects of what they've done and some of the Rough Rider Days events and how they went.
Quick question. So we approved that $10,000 for the dock dogs. Are we still doing that out there at
Yes.
fairgrounds?
Yes.
That is coming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, I'm working with Dean to make sure that everything is done according to their schedule, which these guys were very willing to make sure that that happened. So I think we're right on track for everything. We checked in yesterday with him, and he's excited to get things rolling with that event, so. Yep. All right, Nicole, do you want to come up and talk about? You can just hit enter and go
Okay.
through a couple slides on there.
Sounds good. Like Lisa said, Nicole Killian with the Rough Rider Commission. Overall, I thought we had a pretty good year as far as Rough Rider Days went. The rodeo was dry. That was a nice feeling for the first time in a lot of years. I'll go through the pictures in a second here, but Derby was pretty successful. We had a new promoter this year that cost us a little more money, but there's just not a lot of people around the area that want to put on derbies anymore as far as taking the cards and being judges. And as a rodeo person, I can see why Derby people are just kind of a different group. But the Derby went well, rodeo went well. Our Saturday night of the rodeo, I think there's kind of a picture from the back from Saturday night, but you can see the stands are practically full. I mean, that's the fullest that I have ever seen our stands for a rodeo out there. It was a really good feeling. Just even a lot of our community members walk around, so it's fun to see people in the stands. I mean, we've had so many years of cold weather and rainy and crappy of getting 500 people in the stands. It was nice to see. Saturday night was our kids' night, so there's a lot of kids out there, a lot of families, but it was nice to see close to 2,000, 2,500 people, I would guess. I don't know how many it was. We haven't had, we take July off from a meeting after all of our events, so we haven't had an actual commission meeting since our event has happened yet. We'll do that in a couple weeks here. So I don't know exact numbers, but definitely by far the fullest we have ever had for a rodeo out there. We did a little dance Saturday night after a rodeo, live music, I guess is what we called it. Hit off well. Wish people would have stayed around a little longer. By 11 o'clock, it had kind of fizzled out, but had a lot of good comments from kind of the rodeo group saying it was nice to have something afterwards to do for a little while. So that went off well. The carnival was a hit for my kids. It's two of the kids in the picture, but lots of little kids. They were busy. They had a good week out there too. So I think everything went overall really well. We've got some preliminary numbers in, and I know we still got a couple months left and bills will start trickling in, but As far as everything else, you know, we came closer to breaking even this year than we have in a lot of years. I mean, right now we're showing a loss between $5,000 to $10,000 on the year. In past years, that's been $50,000 to $70,000. So I think I think we're on the right direction. We'll see what happens the rest of this year and next year. But a couple things that we're hoping to do through the rest of this year is we've got Emo Analuk is our marketing guy now with GoDaddy, and he's been a really, really good change for us. It's been, I think our marketing has gone really well. We're looking to start that this fall rather than next spring. I mean, we brought him on in late January, early February after our previous one had kind of moved in a different direction. And we're hoping to get stuff started a little earlier this year, so we'll have a few more expenses with that we're going to relate to later this year. I want to try and go after, I do a lot of our sponsorship stuff. We're going to try and do a little more sponsorship relations this fall, trying to get on board. I know there's new business in the area, and me, like everybody else, just doesn't have enough time to get to everybody. So we're going to try and spend some time this fall going through that. And then also on the volunteer side, I mean, we're down to 13 people on our committee, I think. So we need to do some kind of volunteer recruitment. I don't know what that is. I don't know how it's going to happen. We struggle with it just like everybody else does. So, so I guess with those things, a couple added costs. That's why we're coming back for that 20,000 just to help us break even on the year and then get a good start on next year. But if you have any questions, more than willing to answer them if I can. But that's where we're at. But overall, we thought it was a really good year. Seems like we had less complaints this year than we normally do, which is always a nice thing. Less anonymous Facebook messages and all that kind of stuff that trickles in. Everybody knows how much fun that is to respond to. But no, overall, we thought it went really well this year. We've got a great group together, and hopefully get started on next year.
Derby. Did you guys have the Derby
Yep.
this year? Okay.
Yep, we had the Derby. The Derby was the 21st of June. It'd be the weekend before the rodeos. We tried to go a little early this year to try and avoid other derbies that weekend, and then there was 2 new derbies that started that weekend that had never done it before. One was 2 within the state that were that weekend. There had never been any derbies that weekend before, so it seems like no matter what we do, we always run into something. But we had a pretty good. We had 18 cars for the Derby, I believe. They did a new class this year. It's called the dual class, where one guy drives the car and the other guy runs the gas pedal and the brake. So there's actually 2 guys in the car. It was actually really, I mean, it was probably the best part of the Derby because there was just one and done. So you went out and they just wrecked their cars. They didn't save it for the feature heat or anything like that. So that was actually something different and kind of cool. But no, the Derby actually went pretty well this year.
Is the Derby still at the fairgrounds or is that Motorsports?
No, it's still at the fairgrounds. We got a bunch of rain the night before and had to use a dozer to build part of the track, but we got it built, and they had about 10 minutes before the rodeo or before the Derby, they said, "Hey, we need a water truck." I was like, "We had a dozer out here to build the berm this morning, and you want me to go get a water truck?" But that's what we did, and it went off pretty well. So, yeah, so we did the Derby, the rodeo, we had the carnival out there, we had the live music out there, and then we still do the parade in town. And the youth rodeo, too. I'm so busy with kids this year, I forgot I was even at that one. But yeah, so we do still organize the parade and do, city stepped up and helped us watch a lot of intersections this year, but we still do organize the parade and put all the work into the parade too. So that's what I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one correction, though. Emo Analuk is with Godak, not GoDaddy. Godak Marketing, and he's actually done a really good job for you guys.
He's
So
pretty amazing.
it's crazy. Yeah, very good.
All right. Okay, so I think we can move on to motorsports park status.
Well, we need to vote on that $20,000
Oh,
first,
right.
or
Sorry
discuss that
about
part of
that.
it.
Okay. So there's an additional request for $20,000 added funding from the Rough Rider Commission.
And I can tell you also that I do have, just in canceled checks that they provided to me, another $92,485 worth of stuff here. that they've incurred costs on. So I did request that just to make sure that, you know, we had enough to be able to say it's warranted. So I would recommend approval of that by our board.
Great, is there a motion to approve the additional $20,000 for the Rough Rider Commission?
I would move to approve, and you're going to use all of that, correct?
Yes, yes, correct.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Neil, second by Bernie. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a roll call vote, I assume. Paul?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
Bernie?
Aye.
Neil?
Aye.
Courtney votes aye. Corey?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Now we're moving on, I think. Motorsports park status. Public members requested to comment.
Yes, so I just wanted to kind of update this board on the lack of anybody to take over the motorsports park lease in 2026. Just so that everybody knows, there's been some talk about selling the property, what we should do with the property, just some different questions that everybody has with it. So in hearing that, some of the public has come forward to now speak about that. And so, you know, one of the questions was public auction, or if the county parks would run it, but I would need additional staff in order to run it, and I know nothing about race cars or motorcycles. So I would have to have somebody that would know that if we were to take it over. So that would be a consideration that, you know, you guys would have to know. And then obviously anything we sell has to go to public auction and that. So if you want to hear from people here, I know, Darcy, do you want to come up and state your name?
Hi, I am Darcy Dennis. I've been with the Southwest Speedway Referendum Motorsports Park for 28 years. Right now, we've been trying really hard this year to try to get people to take this over, but the amount of time that goes into it is a lot. There's also a financial burden that sometimes comes with it. The amount of people that are out there, I'm sorry if I get emotional, this is just a labor of love. The amount of people that are out there racing every single year, nobody wants to see this go away. It's growing. Our car counts this year were up. Our fan counts this year were up. We've got a young class out there. Our youngest racer is 8 years old. These racers out there, this is their lives. This is my life. I mean, and I'm just speaking for myself here, but it's something to do. It's something to do on Saturday nights. I fully understand that with nobody taking it over. I really don't have an end game here on what to do next year. I do know that there's people that are interested in running the big events next year. So like our modified tour, our legend show, or not our legend show, our late model show that we did this year, the stands are packed. We ran 94 racers with the modified tour, with probably only about a handful of them being local. So right there, you're looking at the revenue that the out-of-towners are bringing in. They're staying, I've talked to most of them, and a lot of them that come from Canada, I mean, their favorite place to eat here is Blue 42. Right? They come to the bars afterwards. They stay at the hotels. They are bringing in a lot of revenue, and they're bringing in a lot of tax dollars. So we would like to be able to keep that. We've done a lot of work to get into the place that we're at and to build it and to pretty much put Southwest Speedway on the map. So we would hope, or I guess kind of what we're asking for is to be able to keep this another year, to keep our spot in that. And we wouldn't be running a full season, but we would at least keep ourselves into the mix of the modified tour, keep our late model show coming. And I mean, hopefully somebody will take it over so that this place doesn't go away. I mean, like, I can't imagine what Dickinson would look like without this place. And it breaks my heart to drive anywhere and ever see a track that's not there anymore, just because of what it brings to the community, what it brings to the kids. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this place is my life. I don't know what I could do without it. And if you guys are looking at county parks running it, I would gladly step up to help it, just so that this place won't go away. Any questions for me?
Are you with Badlands Motorsports? or-
Yes, we do. We do that as well. There were 394 racers at their event that they had this year for the weekend. The youngest out there being 3 years old.
So, yeah, so you work, I mean, you're part of that organization. That's who's leasing our
Yes.
facility right now is Badlands Motorsports.
Yep.
And-
Rough Rider
Rough Rider,
Motorsports,
sorry.
yes. Yep, and then we take on the speedway and the motocross track as well.
So if that would be an option, I mean, you guys keep the place somewhat clean and stuff now. I mean, if you were only gonna do some of the main events, would you still be out there? I mean, we do the weeds and mowing out there, right?
Yeah, I know one of our girls next to us, the one that runs our concession stand, I know she's been out mowing a lot, Amber. And so, yeah, I mean, if that's what it takes, we'll keep it up. We'll secure the sponsorships for them, just like we do every single year, and go through with all of that.
Other than the weeding and mowing, what does the county contribute to there? I mean, what's our responsibility out there?
Just maintenance.
Maintenance
Just that
on
type of stuff?
the grounds, like the parking area and stuff like that. I think we do a little bit of maintenance on that. The road coming into there, we do maintenance on. And if we don't do anything, and we're still gonna be responsible for the weeds and the grass out there, maybe not so much on the grounds part, but we'll still have to do the weeds and the grass out there, so.
We have a piece of equipment out there still or no?
Blade, yes.
Okay. And who pays the utilities out there?
They do.
They do, okay. And then occasionally we have, like, for example, you had a bill there today for the lights. We've done lights, we've done.
Security cameras.
Security, that's what it was. So I guess what I'm looking for is a end game that looks, economically.
Yes.
Good for both of us.
Yes.
Right? Because you guys are running it and not making any money.
And that's where, like, for us right now, I know as much as we hate change is a good thing. Sometimes to come forward and get new ideas, but like I said, as of right now, we just haven't had anybody step up. But I don't think a lot of people necessarily believe that this is a thing, that this could go away. I do feel that if people actually understood that, I feel like some of it would change. So maybe going into next year with just running the major events, and just our couple that we do, maybe somebody would step up and bring back a full season. Like I said, I know that there's lots of ideas and people always talk about, what could be done differently. And so I would hope that, if somebody were to step up, that we would come up with a better plan, to bring more people out there. This year was good. And I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head. That would need Brad here. But like I said, with the amount of people that we had at the tour alone, the stands, the way that they looked, I know that it didn't work out necessarily and it wasn't super beneficial to all of us, but that monster truck show, I mean, both shows that we had out there were completely packed. And I mean, it's so great to have. So I would hope that, if somebody were to step up, if we were to take this year, run what we ran, people would look at coming back out there next year and possibly formulating a plan that could work for this.
Well, you mentioned that that the bars are full, the restaurants are full, the hotels are being used. Have you approached the CVB about some of their potential grants and helping you as well financially, or?
No, I didn't know that those were available.
Okay.
So, I mean, that would be also
I don't know all
something.
the particulars, but they do have like startup grants for events to get it going, but I don't know the particulars.
Okay.
Somebody'd have to check into that, but I know they're out there.
Okay.
They award them all the time, so.
What was the utilization of the motocross track from last year to this year?
Oh, do you mean as part of it, like as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, because I know last year there was a lot of discussion on it. There's some couple big events that took place at the motocross track.
Yep. So what they run is the NDMA. It's a state-run deal where they kind of travel through a lot of the main cities in the state. I know we only got one event this year with them. Sometimes people can get two, or more. And I know this year we only got one. And so it's just a weekend show with a Saturday, Sunday race. But I know that that's kind of a big deal, is to be able to get that every year. And it's kind of the same way, you know, our modified tour runs is, you know, you kind of establish yourself with them, and that's how you kind of get your night or your weekend.
Do you think that you, I mean, not having the modified tour come, do you think you'd still be able to get these bigger events to happen without that modified tour?
I mean, there's an affiliation, but also not. So like bringing in our late models, which is a completely different class. So all the classes are kind of separate in their own right, as is the governing body of each of those tours. There's 2 tours that are ran every year, which is a sport mod tour and a modified tour. The late model tour is what we bring in. So you kind of still have to pay their purse, but then you have to figure out kind of what's going to work with all of their shows. But I mean, if the modified tour were to go away, which is kind of, like I said, our biggest thing, I mean, we would still be able to bring in the other shows because it's kind of a perfect circle between the 6 or 7 tracks that are running it. So we just kind of fit perfectly right in the bottom corner.
Darcy, talk about the practice that happens on
The practice for the motocross? The motocross, I kind of think as of right now, I mean, I'm probably not the necessarily person to talk to about the motocross side of it. I'm more involved in the stock car side. But with that, I mean, it is open. I know there's people out there almost every day, you know, to practice and to get out there and to be able to utilize that facility. Like I said, just going back to the kids, it's one of the coolest things to see. I mean, these kids are young. And I mean, I was the flagman for that event over the weekend, and so I'm directly on the track, and you're watching these cute little 3-year-old boys and girls that are running these little motorcycles out there. And I mean, it's something cool because then when we have that facility available for them to run on, A, they're not running in town. B, they're not running on the ditches on Highway 10, you know. They have somewhere to go that's safe. And they're learning how to do this stuff, which therefore leads them up as they get older. But I mean, it kind of keeps them, I hate to say on the streets, but I mean, it really does. Like I said, it gives them a place to go where it's controlled in its own right.
So going back to, I mean, I was under the understanding that Badlands, or Rough Rider Motorsports, was not going to renew their lease. Is that correct, Lisa?
Correct.
Okay, so are you a part of an association away from Rough Rider?
No.
Okay,
No,
you're with
I'm
Rough
with
Rider?
them,
Okay.
yes.
So-
Yep.
Okay.
But it would be, I mean, a very similar group that would be coming in to run this. So I don't know, I guess, without talking to them, how to go about it with the lease itself. If they would just want to take it on for one more year, or what?
Or do you need to establish a new group to take this on?
Not necessarily at this moment yet.
Well, I think you have months. So, you know, you made a good point. You said your conversation has started. People thought it was an idle possibility that this was not going to happen. So now you have people hopefully motivated to come forth, take some responsibility, and hopefully come up with a proposal that continues what's going on. Because, you know, for us, for me, it's like I understand the passion. It's just like what's in the best, you know, interest
Yes.
of the taxpayers, because
Yep.
we have those things that we talked about. So I think start the conversation, get people motivated, and see if some group or one can come up with a proposal.
Yeah.
And as Bernie mentioned, I mean, we're gonna have the maintenance stuff out there continues, whether it's being used or not, unless the county decides to sell it. And I don't wanna
Yeah.
speak for the commission, but
Yeah.
that would probably be a slow process, so.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I
have,
mean, we're doing that anyway.
Yeah,
We're getting a minimal amount, hopefully, to generate activity. So we're spraying there now, spraying there. So you're right, whether there's someone there or not, that's still there. So there's not an incentive one way or the other in that regard, because we are taking care of and doing that. So
yeah, there are those fixed costs that we're gonna have, whether it's being leased or not. So, and then we also need to look at, you know, what the cost would be to the county to mothball the facility as well, you know, if it's not gonna be used. So, and then Darcy as well, you got a good platform right there. You got 2 more events yet this year?
3 technically.
And what are they?
We've got a regular race coming up this coming Saturday, and then championship is the following Saturday. And then we have what we call a beater race, where people kind of bring out whatever they want and within the safety perimeters, and they run what they want. And then they'll attach a trailer to the back of it, and they will run those as well. It's one of our biggest events, as much as we like to call it a redneck rodeo, but it is by far one of the coolest things that we have out there all year. But that will pack the stands as well. Anything else?
Thank you.
No, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wanted to do public comment on the racetrack? You guys?
Good morning, Commissioners. Frank Klein. I've been at the Speedway for about 50 years. And I've seen the bottom and I've seen the top. What our question is right now is, when it comes to the public auction, are you going to be putting this out a statewide basis, or how are you going to go by doing that so we get the best bidders here? I've got a couple of guys from 2 different parts of the state that indicated interest, but they're interested when and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't know what kind of plan you had for that. Have you even talked about a plan for that?
I think there was a passing comment that if we don't get anything, maybe we sell it. I don't think we've done anything more than that. But I think, along with the group that wants to continue it, if there was outreach of somebody who had the ability to perform out there and make it a better facility, I think that would be, in my opinion, would be looked at. So, no, there hasn't been any other discussion, Frank.
Okay. I think that what I've seen out there since I've been out of it, which was 2006, I have not seen the promotion that we had out there. We had the stands plumb full every week. I had to bring bleachers out there because we didn't have enough room. And I go out to the races and I look at the bleachers. Yeah, we had a couple good shows out there this year. Most of the time, the bleachers was friends and relatives. That's what you had out there for attendance. You look in the stands, and I waited until about a half hour into the show before I look up to the bleachers. I go up there, I go, they're not making it with the bleachers. And we never came back here for money. We got some beginning of the year, and that was it. And we made it with that. And we paid the county to lease the track. So, just a couple things, but like I said, I do have people interested in buying it if things are gonna go that direction.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, I don't think we have any action to approve there. Move on to weed spraying issues. Lisa? Frank was mainly
Well,
handling.
okay.
Thought you
we'll have
fixed
to-
that this morning.
Well, I tried to fix it this morning, but it broke again. So yeah, that was the only thing that, we wanted to bring up. So, the weed spraying issues. So, with having Bailey had gotten her weed spraying license, and having her being a part-time person, she's working full-time during the summertime, which is great. But there isn't a whole lot of time in her schedule to be spraying weeds, and they are out of control, which I think they kind of are this year anyway, maybe for everybody. But it's becoming a real challenge in trying to get that done. Wondering if this board would consider at least allocating some dollars to even the weed blaster. Last year when he came and sprayed and got everything caught up, it was less than $1,000, I think $680 some dollars. Because I understand that even Travis in the weed department is having an issue finding people to help spray, and so I don't think that that's even an option for us either. we can't get the spray that we're needing, from him. He doesn't have the ability to get the spray, so we're actually buying some spray from Southwest Grain, I guess. So that's kind
What
of
spray can't you get it through Travis?
whatever he was giving her. I don't know what it was. It was a Roundup, like I don't know if it was you'd have to ask him what it actually was. But when she went to get some, he only had a couple of gallons for her, and so she could only do minimal spraying. And then she went back, I think the next week, and got like maybe 1.5 gallons, and that was all he could get. He couldn't get any more, he told her. So this is third party here, so I'm not sure. I assume that it's Roundup, because that's what she was spraying with before to try to kill everything that we had out there. So now what we have to do is go and weed eat very, very tall weeds. And it just, putting it on, if Travis doesn't have time to do it, a part-time person doesn't either, and that's been kind of the discussion there. In the budget, when we talk about that, you'll be able to see, I have a line item for weed spraying.
So we had a discussion last year on weed. We've had many discussions on weed spraying. One was bringing on a second person to help with that. Now we can't keep up. We had Weed Blaster. We had some support from our weed department. It doesn't seem like any of the discussions we've had over the past have worked. So are we gonna go back to Weed Blaster?
I would like to at least be able to utilize somebody when we need them, because I'm not pulling weeds, and I can't pull them actually when they're that big. It's just been very difficult, and the past couple months for me have been very hard. Excuse me. Just because of some personal things that have happened, and she's had to step up and do some office things, so the weed spraying has gotten behind. And so I think it will every year, honestly, with all the busyness that we have, because we hired to be able to bring me back and be able to do more things office related, and it can't happen. It hasn't happened because of everything that is going on there. It just, with all the events and everything that we have,
So
it's
is
just
it-
difficult.
I mean, where are we talking here? At the fairgrounds or at the motorsports or both?
It's really both.
But it started at the fairgrounds. I mean, is it just a kochia problem that you have?
Yes, correct.
Well, at this point, you may not kill that kochia. I'm not sure you can spray it and kill it. I mean, maybe.
I think you
I can tell
Really
you,
nasty stuff, maybe you can.
I can tell you manpower aside, I can't comment on the manpower and how we attain more manpower, but we've had to get stuff from Southwest Grain this year, and we've had really good luck with that. I don't know the name of it, but I can
Yeah.
get it if we have to do that, and I don't know what exactly it is, but I imagine the same thing that's at the fairgrounds is at my place.
I would
And it-
guess.
It wiped it out in like 2 days.
Yeah, I think this year's also a little bit of an outlier. I mean, you spray and you kill something, and 2 weeks later, it's up because you've had a bunch of rain that regenerates the seed. And also with your situation, Lisa, is also put a challenge on that. So I guess I would like to see us try this another year and hopefully have a normal year so that we can address these issues, rather than, so, because if you look strictly at the numbers, right, we've added a position, a part-time position, and we also want to go back right to where we are. That doesn't look efficient from the outside looking in. I just think this year has been a challenge, weed-wise, and we're not exclusive to that. Anyone sitting in this room knows that
Okay.
that's an issue. I really do.
So if the issue though is Bailey can't get the stuff because Travis can't give it to her, can we
I just
approve
can't
that she can
believe
go get
that.
some from Southwest Grain to
I
at
think
least
so.
be
I
able to
just
fill
don't
her
see
plate?
where that's an issue.
Yeah.
He should have the product. He can.
Whatever he wants,
He can
whatever
buy
he can,
from a
yeah.
lot cheaper than.
Yeah, so I'll visit with Travis a little bit about this mystery chemical we can't get our hands on and find out what that is and And,
Okay.
you know, maybe see if possibly if he can free up. I know he had a little bit more luck finding some folks to work here midsummer, a little bit later than typical. And according to that group on, meeting with them last Wednesday, they're pretty well caught up. I mean, they're on schedule to where they need to be. So I'll talk to them a little bit about possibly getting them out there to maybe, if they can get out there. If not,
If they just get us the chemical, I think that would help because, you know, I mean, she has to be the one to spray it and that's the problem. And I'm willing to be there at night or whatever we need to do. So, you know, that's the other problem, which,
well, we need to get that place cleaned up for, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got events still coming, so.
exactly.
Um,
Okay,
but I'll visit with Travis about the chem. So if
Okay.
we get you the chem, you can get it put down?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can attest, I was out there from like noon to 2 the other day, and it was like 95 degrees, and she was out there busting her butt, so I know she's
Trying
putting
to
in
do
the work.
something. Yeah, right. Yeah, and you can't spray above the 89 degrees, I understand, or 85, I think he said, but
She might have been mowing that day.
yeah, she was mowing but it's mornings or evenings for that, which is okay. Like I said, maybe it's a time where I need to get a certification too to be able to fill in the gaps as well. It's broke.
All right, so Paul is going to talk to Travis. Okay. If the,
So we'll try it another year and, yeah, so.
all right, 2026 Park Board budget.
Yep, so in front of you, you have the park board budget that's proposed, just so that you have your first view of it. Hold it. With that, obviously that 6,000 in weed control is on there. And I just guessed at a number based on spending 3,000 at each facility. So that one we'll have to look at and we can talk about after maybe the next meeting or at the 15th or whatever you guys decide. I did reduce the fair and parks events funding to 120,000, reduced down 50,000. I think that would be it. We did combine the parks maintenance and repairs. And then we're also adding in the designated funding lines for each mechanism so that we can run reports that will be accurate for you. When we code our invoices and we code things, you can actually run them and see what everything is costing year to date and year end. And right now, it's just a matter of if we pull those invoices off and you have to manually go through them. So anytime you want to know something, it's potentially could have a mistake in it. So that's going to change that part of it. So they'll continue working on that. But I have reduced the budget by $99,004.09 with that 6,000 added in there for the weeds. So it could potentially be more.
What equipment are you looking at for 50,000?
Well, there's going to be some equipment that we're going to need for, I'd like to get the dumpster grapple to dump the actual dumpsters into the large bins in order to clean. So right now, what happens is if they get full during an event and MGM is closed, they have to manually go in to the roll-off container and dump those roll-offs. They have to actually dump them manually, which
Is that a grapple for a normal,
skid attachment. Mhm.
for a man garbage cans, a little half-yard garbage cans?
I don't know how the yards are, but those roll-off containers, the rolling dumpsters that we
Oh,
have out
okay.
there, it'll
Okay.
just grab them and dump them and
2 yards,
set them
3
back
yards.
down. Mhm. So. And then we do have a couple of cameras that have to be replaced as well in that equipment part of it. And I can give you guys that detail and stuff too, so that you have that to look at. I just wanted you guys to see this, and the auditor had just sent it to me last night, so we went through it and just looked at everything on here. And the proposed, for salary-wise, that's based on the merit increase that we did from the longevity that comes from HR on both those line items.
When do we typically want this approved by? October?
They will approve it, if you guys have any changes or questions or anything, but there is a public comment on September 15th, and then it will be approved, the final, the October meeting is when it'll be approved. But I wanted you guys as a board to have some input on it or to look at it and maybe see if there is anything that you needed to do.
I think the only thing that I see is the motorsports park that we talked about. In 2024, we were notified that, 2025 was going to be the last year of the lease, and they weren't planning on renewing it in 2026. What our cost would be if it doesn't get leased, are we going to have to put up additional gates to keep traffic out, keep security cameras on? What electricity? We got to shut off water. What kind of cost are we going to look at if we can't find utilization for it?
We would have to keep the internet on. That would have to be because of the cameras would need that. We would winterize and just leave it winterized. And then there are gates existing. We would just lock them. And then obviously you'd have the maintenance of mowing and weed spraying, and really that would be it for maintenance wise, unless
blade,
something happens.
Where's the blade from?
That is the road department's blade.
Lisa, if the cells are empty here, is that a zero or is that
Yes.
just not been calculated yet?
That's a zero
So those are, right.
on the
Like
proposed.
for the 2025 actuals?
The 2025
specifically?
actuals, yep, if that is just what was approved there, and then I don't know why it's backwards, but, yes, it's just what's remaining in there, and if there isn't anything used in there, they're just blank. Yep. And so, like, when you go down to the community events, the combined, one there, those ones, that's actually in, I don't know why they don't have anything in there, because it's all out of the general fund, that's why. Because they don't have individual line items. So basically, it's the subtotal at the bottom is totaling that up, the 101,923.
So-
That's all those combined, because they don't have a way to break them apart in here.
Okay. but
'Cause it's
for
all general
example,
fund.
Like weed control, there's nothing in.
Yes, no, that, we
actual-
just added that. I added that this year
I think the
for
101
next year.
is just an addition of the top 5 or 6 lines, so.
That seems right.
Yeah, and it would be nice to have those numbers inputted into that. And
That-
it'll get there
That should
before-
be the 52,000. That would be the first 4 lines is the 52. And then when the other amount in here is the 101. Lana, can you?
The spreadsheet that I'm looking at, the first 4 lines are 48,000, and then that 52,000 is the county park. That's a total of all of those that are below, and then the 2 of those total 101. So that was the expenses through July.
So the
2nd.
52 is the expenses. 52,9 is the total
Yes.
so far
Yes.
through July 2nd.
Well, like you said, there is 2 additional opportunities for input and comment between now and the time the budget's adopted, so.
Correct.
This, I guess, informational purposes only, probably to start with, or a wish list, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and it's nice to see, but the more actual numbers I can see, the more merit for me, because then I can know where we need more and where we
Right.
need less, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can move on then. Public comment resolution. My understanding, Amanda, you can chime in, is this is something that the county commission passed and is necessary for us to pass as well. Amanda provided us with the resolution that the county commission passed, and the suggestion is that we pass something similar. I don't know if everybody had a chance to review it.
The one thing I would add on the county commission resolution is that the information goes to the Stark County Auditor. Obviously, with this board, it would be different, so you'd want to designate, I don't think Karen would be the person to designate, you'd want to designate who would be getting the comments or the sign-up
Yeah.
cards prior to.
I looked at the statute real quick this morning, and it says that the county can be the auditor or a county designee. I don't know if the park board is qualified to determine who that designee is, but I think probably Lisa makes the most sense because she's the one that puts the agenda together typically. So my suggestion would be basically wherever in this, I found it a couple times on page 2, where they're submitting requests for public comment to the county auditor, it would be to the, Lisa, what's your title? County Parks Director, so instead of county auditor, it would say County Parks Director. And then obviously rather than being directed to the Stark County Board of County Commissioners, it would be the Park Board.
Correct.
I would move we adopt that policy with those recommended changes.
All right, there's a motion by Neil, is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Paul, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes.
I'll get those, get that document amended and I'll just send it to you for signature.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion to adjourn,
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, we'll